Pray not only for these, but also for those who will believe in me because of their word, so that they may be one, as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they may be in us, that the world may believe that you sent me. And I have given them the glory that you gave me, so that they may be one, as you and I are one, I in them, you in me, that they may be brought to perfection as one, that the world may know that you love them even as you have loved me. Father, they are your gift to me. I wish that where I am, they also may be with me, that they may see the glory that you gave me, because you loved me before the foundation of the world. Righteous Father, the world does not know you, but I know you, and they know that you sent me. I made known to them your name, and I will make it known, that the love with which you loved me may be in them, and I in them. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. They are your gift to me, Father, right? That's what Jesus said about his disciples and about those of us who believe because of their word. That's you. Yeah, you believe because of their word, and you are the Father's gift to Jesus. That drives me nuts, yeah? Again, I know I've said this before, I would totally get it if Jesus was like, I can put up with them, Lord. I can put up with them. But no, we're his gift. He looks at us as a gift. And I could go on and on about that. But I think what we need to do is look at a consequence of that Philip Neri got this. He got it, and so it came out of him in joy. That when people met Philip Neri, when people wrote about Philip Neri, they didn't write about how smart he was. And guys, he was scary smart. Yeah. They didn't write about how disciplined he was. And he was that kind of disciplined that I look at and go, oh, I didn't know that was possible. When people wrote about him, they didn't write a ton about the insane amount of work he did to help the poor. And he did an insane amount of work to help the poor. They talked about how ridiculously joyful he was. I imagine back then that's as rare as now. So let's be joyful. Right? And let's be joyful, not necessarily because our circumstances are getting better or might get better, because they might not. Our circumstances might get awful, but we can still be joyful. We still are joyful. So you heard what Paul wrote in that first reading. Rejoice. Quote, I say it again, rejoice. This was to people who were being torn to pieces for the sake of the gospel, who were being starved out for the sake of the gospel. Paul's answer isn't, I always laugh. My mom would have said, you need to cowboy up. Yeah. No, his answer is to say, rejoice. I say it again, rejoice. Everyone should know your love. A couple things that I want to share with you just because I have the mic. And I felt like the Lord said, no, share this. When I was in high school, our youth minister, they had their first baby, and it may be that the 50 kids in the youth group spoiled this child rotten. Like we were creating a problem. Yeah, it was glorious. And there was a mass where he wouldn't calm down. He wouldn't behave. And now this was, 40 years ago. But Dad scooped him up, kind of threw him over the shoulder to carry him out of church, and you know what was going to happen back there, right? And all of a sudden, his name was John, he stuck his little hands out toward the priest, and he yelled, pray for me, pray for me. And it was just so glorious, yeah? I think that got him out of whatever trouble he was in. When I was a priest, this was when I was at MSU, it was full. We could only fit, theoretically, 780 kids at Mass, but we had 1,100 at every Mass, standing room only, packed. And when my brother and his wife got there with little Charlie, well, Charlie couldn't believe he was sitting all the way back there. And so during this quiet moment before the homily and at the end of the gospel, you hear his little voice, "Uncle Joe, why are you so far from me?" And then he comes tearing up the center aisle. He's going to be a priest, by the way. I have a million of these that have happened in my 25 years as priest. Just kids doing crazy, beautiful things during Mass. And the whole congregation laughed and rejoiced. And of course, there were those who got mad and wanted to tell us about reverence. And they think reverence and joy are two separate things. But reverence is awareness. That's what it means. You can follow the word backward. It comes from the original word for awareness. Awareness, you guys, we're in a sacred place and we're about to do a ridiculous thing. It's amazing. And that inspires awe and gravitas. But it also inspires joy. We're loved that much. When Jesus describes you, he tells his Father, you are the Father's gift to him. And if that doesn't fill us with joy, nothing will. So if we don't have joy, maybe it's time to start thinking about this. That when Jesus was talking directly to his Father, he thanked him for you. May God fill us with joy at that truth. Amen? Okay. Let's rise and offer our prayers to the Lord through the intercession of St. Philip Neri.
For all of us in the church, may God direct